Hey everyone, welcome to Cardano Q&A. It's good to have you here. And Dinesh is right in there with a question.
Good morning, everyone. I was looking on Solana blockchain, and there's a project called Orc. There's a project called Orc with the same logo as the Orc Fax. I just wonder if there's any relationship between the two.
Huh. So is that this one, orca.co, that I say?
It's the same logo as the fish. It's the dolphin or the fish logo. And I wondered whether they were related in some ways.
This one has got a similar logo,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look exactly the same. And as far as I know, there's no correlation between.
And is it on Solana? Is that the one on Solana that you picked up on?
Looks like it, yeah. Orca is your homepage for buying crypto on Solana.
Yeah. So I looked at the two and I'm thinking, I thought, were there any kind of relationships?
Yeah, I suspect not. So that's a Solana logo, and then our old fax one's actually up the other way. So, oh, look at this little tilt.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just shows that there's so many similarities. But okay.
Yeah, busy ecosystem. Yeah, so I know, and I would doubt that we'll see any orc fax activity on Solana because Solana is not a UTXO based blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you build for UTXO based blockchains pretty much siloed in that UTXO realm. So potentially you could have some crossover with Bitcoin blockchain, but not so much with any of the Ethereum based EVM, Ethereum virtual machine type blockchains. And I think Solana is an account based blockchain like Ethereum, because UTXOs are a way of settling transactions locally, whereas Ethereum's account-based model is settling transactions globally. So when you're buying and selling Ethereum or swapping tokens on Ethereum blockchain, you have to be aware of the global state of that. So the maximum supply, how much is available to move between wallets, and etc. Whereas with UTXO, Bitcoin, and Cardano, you just need to know how much is in each particular wallet for a transaction to be trusted and verified. It's like holding cash. So if you're buying something with your debit card, then the retailer is trusting that the bank that issued the card is going to deliver the funds to them when they accept payment, and the bank is the one that's keeping account of how much money you've got in your bank account to actually be allowed to buy that product with your debit card. So that's like an account-based model. The bank needs to know how much is in your bank account to be able to purchase that item for you. Whereas with cash, if I turn up with a £20 note and the product is worth less than £20, then both parties know that that's good. I can just give them my £20 note, get some change back, and the product, and without having to go back to the bank and check that, because effectively the whole money supply system is said that yes, that £20 note is always going to be redeemable for £20 in gold, but not anymore. So we're just trusting that it's £20 is worth £20. So yeah, in that effect, Bitcoin and Cardano are even better because the total supply of Cardano and Bitcoin is locked on chain, is written into the contract. Yeah. Another rabbit hole. I always end up talking about UTXOs in some way, shape, or form with these calls, because it is the crux of the differentiator really between Cardano and most other blockchains. It's a really incredible design by Satoshi Nakamoto and the early Bitcoin crew that has lent itself extremely well to multiple applications. It's difficult to develop with in comparison to an account-based model, but far more powerful in terms of letting you do peer-to-peer transactions and really keeping track of money flows without having to go back to look at the global state all the time, which is a very useful ability. Yeah, so AltFax probably will only ever be on Cardano, may do something on Bitcoin as well, but yeah, their technology, the way they built it, is all designed around UTXO, so it's not going to be used elsewhere in all likelihood. But yeah, interesting.
Thank you.
See
yeah,
that.
thank you.
Yeah, so prior to that, we were just looking at Charlie 3, which is the main oracle on Cardano, built on Cardano, for Cardano, by Cardano. And AltFax is the new project that's sort of up and coming, looking to add additional functionality to what's available through Charlie 3. But we were just checking to see if Charlie 3, which is tracking price movements of tokens on Cardano, actually was listing anything to do with AltFax token, but it's not as of yet. But while we're here, it's always interesting to have a quick look at USDM, which is the fiat-backed stablecoin on Cardano, which launched recently, and we're keeping an eye on it because we want to see this liquidity volume increase. Basically, this is showing how many people have taken real-world fiat dollars and burnt them effectively and in exchange have received USDM. So $1 in a bank account is tracked by the oracles to see how much money is in that account and records that on chain. And so Charlie 3 is monitoring that bank account, effectively telling us how many dollars have been minted to give us USDM on chain, which is like our digital version of the dollar within Cardano. And so we've got USDM, which is a fiat-backed stablecoin. We've also got JED, which is a over-collateralized digital token-backed stablecoin. And they've got different ways of pegging the price to the dollar, but both have use cases. Long term, I want fiat-backed stablecoins to disappear as a necessity, and we can just rely on algorithmic-backed stablecoins. But for now, having a fiat-backed stablecoin makes a lot of sense because the most stable currency in the world is the dollar, in terms of actual real-world purchasing power. So having a digital currency pegged to that makes sense. But of course, that's always going to be changing. 100 years ago, it was different reserve currencies. 100 years before that, it was different again. So they do change out. We had the British pound, and then we had the Dutch krona, and in the future we may have the Chinese yen. So, or we might have the BRICS, the Russian, Brazil, India, and Asian bloc being the coming reserve currency. Who knows? Or it may be Bitcoin. We don't know. But it's interesting to think about. Cool. Any questions in and around that? Oracles and price feeds and whatnot. If not, I can wrap
No
that.
questions about that, Jonathan, but I do have a question about, I still haven't claimed my Sunday swap tokens from ages ago. So I just wondered what was happening there.
Yeah, I don't know if they've even got them available still, but that's worth trying. So let's have a quick hands-on attempt. So you could collect them through drip drops at one point. I don't know if that's possible anymore. They did actually release a app to do it through Sunday Swap Labs themselves. I thought it was called ISO or something, so I don't know if they have got the tool live anymore. I was having dinner with the founder of Sunday Swap last week. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
feeling
Yeah.
particularly towards the project. Lanningham's a good guy in the space, really works hard on governance and auditing, really big brain as well. And he has got a whole new load of new features coming out for his platform, which are very exciting. But I can't find if they've got that rewards while we're going anymore. Ooh, maybe. ISO rewards expired at midnight, November 30th.
Oh, what was that?
So they stopped being available in November.
Oh, right. Okay. So that means I don't have them. Yeah.
Yeah, you missed out on them, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
No, it's my fault. I know it was ages ago. I think it's probably about 2 years ago.
And I lost some of the ones that we were tracking last time round, and by the time I thought I'll cache them. I'll cache them in sometime, but by the time I got to it, they stopped it. So
Yeah, I didn't
not on the
realize
one.
that they would have expiry dates on them. So that's a
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact,
So
most ISOs do have some kind of expiry, and then the claims afterwards then do expire as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I wasn't
I think
sure when.
the ones we should be looking for is the copy tokens, isn't it? Is the next. Not sure if they've been released yet, but I've heard a lot about them doing staking and all sorts. I don't see how. But the difference is that they can stake, but we can't claim the reward. That was the difference.
Yeah, Coinector.
Coinector, that's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, so we were an ISPO pool or a FISO pool, fair initial stake pool offering, with Coinector, which means that if you were staked to Fluid Pool, which all of you were, then you get to claim. And that's slow as well. You get to claim some of their token, Coinector token.
So I was thinking, if I can claim them, I can stake them if there's a way. So it's just
Yeah, that's been my I've been waiting for that as well.
planning well.
And I had the million ADA loan at the period that the ISO ran, so I've got rewards from that million ADA due to me. So it's quite a significant amount.
Significant.
Yeah, but they are releasing because they're primarily their product is a launch pad, so they are designed to launch new tokens for other projects, and the first product that they've got built is the launch pad, and they launched their own token on the back of it initially. So we've actually had the initial token generation event for Coinector, which means the token's available. The ISO rewards will need a new bit of technology building, so that will be their next development project, I hope. In the meantime, they're getting going, trying to get some revenue into the project, it seems, by actually using the product they have built to launch other additional tokens. So the two new tokens that are still available at the moment are Banana Clip Studios token and Cardano Casino, neither of which I've looked at all. And so we're waiting really for this new development to finish before we can actually claim our ISO tokens. In fact, yeah, so this was the other token launch that has finished now. That was for Nivola Digital, and in fact that has been a very successful launch, and I'm kind of got a bit of FOMO now from not having taken part of it. Nivola is an interesting project. It's a deep in project again, so physical infrastructure project. and they've got very similar approach or offering to what I'm actually doing with Fluid Pool and the Orcfax opportunity. So Nivola have a sort of investors collaborative group that anybody can take part of. They've released their token and distributed some of that to investors, effectively owners of their token. They're then taking any capital they raise and investing in deep in projects. And then they'll be spinning up the infrastructure to run those deep in projects and earn the rewards that any of those projects offer as a shared distribution among their investors. So, exactly the same model as we're doing with Orcfax, really, but they're doing it with multiple deep in projects. At the moment, they've got 2 Orcfax validator licenses, so they're doing exactly what we're doing with Orcfax, which is great to see. And I think there was another project they've actually got up and running as well, but I can't remember what it was at the moment. So they'll be adding new deep in projects to their portfolio as they grow. I think it might be an Iagon. Might have got some Iagon nodes running. So yeah, Nivola would certainly want to keep an eye on. If I could look at the token prices on Tap Tools, I'd go and show you the chart for. There we go. They're back up. For the Nivola token, quickest just here. I don't know if it's Nivola or Nuvola, but it's not on their search list as Nuvola. I don't know the token handle. There we go, NVL. So their launch last month, and we could have got in at quite a low price, and since then the value's just risen. So they've had a very successful launch. Let's drop that time down to something reasonable. So the launch price looks to be in around 0.17 and now up to 0.4, so 2x certainly since launch. I'm sure they've got price on here still. So they distributed 21 million Nivola tokens. I'm not showing the launch price, but here we go. So 1 ADA got you 3 Nivola. So now 1 ADA will get you 0.4 Nivola. So that's very good return on your investment if you got in on that. I did talk about it, but I didn't partake myself. So there we go. Fools me. But that's another proof that this Launchpad platform from Coinector is doing its job. It's raising awareness for the tokens on its Launchpad, and this price finding mechanism is working out quite nicely to release tokens that then don't necessarily flatline, which can happen on tokens. Post launch, people sell off straight away. This one has actually managed to raise enough awareness around the token, and the token's got, or the project behind it has got enough interest and value people see to hold on to their tokens post launch, which is good. So we've got these other projects on here as well. Coinector was the first one. Nuvola's just finished. Another 2 projects. If you did want to look at that, you could start doing some due diligence on those 2 projects, because they've still got upcoming dates in terms of whether they might be worth investing in. I don't know them at all. I don't tend to invest in anything that's betting related. And games have got a lot of potential, but it's always quite hit and miss. So be careful with your diligence around those if you do look at this at all. And there's no sign of their token claiming being released yet. So showing me something. Yeah, so the tokens, if you did buy into their token launch, you can actually stake them, which is what I've got going here with the portion that I bought. But here, I think it should be telling me a little bit on what are eligible to collect as well. Now, there was another URL, doesn't seem to be listed anymore, but I wonder if it's still live. ESO.connector. No. Yeah, so yeah, you can go in and check your wallet balance here. So this might be worth you doing, Archie, if you want to practice claiming some tokens. See if you can follow through before 2 years have got passed by.
Yes. Yeah, that's a challenge. Because I was thinking, even with things like the gimbal tokens that we earned, through Fluidpool, is there anything we need to do with those? I mean, I see those in my wallet, but
yeah, no. So gimbal tokens is a little different. It's a token that's very much not aimed at price appreciation. It's kind of almost like a reputation token. If you're holding gimbals, it means you're engaged in the ecosystem. You've probably done some work in the ecosystem to earn those gimbals, because the majority will be distributed through bonus bounty rewards by Catalyst Swarm. So there's no liquidity provided for gimbals on exchanges, so you can't go and swap gimbals for ADA or ADA for gimbals easily. So there's no price tracking on that gimbal token at the moment, but worth holding on to, because at some point there will be a liquidity pool developed for gimbals, I'm pretty sure. The Gimbal Labs team is a powerhouse in the ecosystem, doing really good work. One of their projects, if you want to keep an eye on it, is Andamio, which is like a learning management system that's got a whole scaffold for producing learning education materials, primarily in around blockchain, but it can really be any material you want to learn. Can build out a platform, a learning management platform on Andamio, and then students and educators can pay or earn off the back of that platform, using native tokens on Cardano or ADA. So yeah, got a lot of good future. But if you want to practice getting ready for claiming on Connector, come to there must be a link to this still off here. Let's try and find it. So we go to connector.fi.finance is the domain. Then always used to be under projects. Oh yeah, I think it's here. So you can go to learn more on the Connector project, and then here on the FISO tab of Connector project, you've got this calculator that will show you exactly how much in rewards you're due to claim from this project. So you can take the receive address from your Yoroi wallet, paste it in here, and submit it, and it will then tell you how many Connector tokens you're due to claim when they actually release the ability to claim them.
okay.
So that will get you set up. You'll have tried querying the blockchain to find out how much tokens you're due to be rewarded, and then when the platform does release, you'll actually be able to go and claim them. So that'll be similar to how you've done on Toasty Drop before to get your gimbals or
Great, thank you.
Cool. So any other questions, or shall I have a look at some of the bits I've been looking at this week? So last week I was in Toulouse in France at the Bidler Fest, which is the first large event targeting just developers on Cardano. So I had the privilege of being in a room of 100 other of the 100 of the brightest minds of anybody I've been in a room with before. So I kind of felt like I was in a room of Einsteins, with me being the the plucky upstart who didn't know what he was talking about. And I really, really enjoyed it. I felt out of my depth most of the time there. And the topics were so in depth, above my level of knowledge, that it was humbling and really exciting. So it makes me very confident in the future of Cardano if we've got that many bright minds working in the space. I got to hang out with Pi from SunnySwap, which was great. We got to hear him battling, sharing thoughts and minds with Dom from Book.io. He's Dom. Yeah, I forgot his name. So he's the guy that's running Woodland Stake Pool, and he's from the US. They're both from the US actually, and he just landed at the Builderfest, having been at the Book.io conference in the States, which was a really successful project as well, project and event. And yeah, they were talking about the direction that those projects are going in terms of building stuff out, which is very cool. I was also sitting at the same table as guys from Hazelnet, which is the bot that we use on the Discord bot we use on Fluid server. So Niels from what we know as Hazelnet, which is now rebranded to Vibrant. So his project is going from strength to strength as well. I know it's not Vibrant. We've still got the old domain. And it's vibrantnet.io. So yeah, he was telling me a little bit about his project. Again, a very good one to keep an eye on. Knowledgeable guy, really interested in not just in the development space within Cardano, but also in the governance. So he's involved in Project Catalyst. He came to the delegated representative workshop following the Toulouse festival, which I was at as well. So we were discussing governance of the blockchain as a whole in depth too. So really worth looking at. So if you want to follow him, you can find him on Twitter under Niels Codes, NILS Codes, CODES. And actually, before I click on that, here's a couple of the pictures of the activity on 2 major events that went on last week. And there were more going on all over the place. There was Book.io, there was the DREP workshops. But here, the top picture is of the 100 developers at Builderfest in Toulouse. And then the picture underneath is again, probably 100 or so people who managed to get into the Catalyst, Project Catalyst launch event in Barcelona. If I'd organized myself a bit better, I could have actually gone to Barcelona from Toulouse, because I ended up having to stay an extra day in Toulouse anyway because of a air traffic controllers strike, typical on brand of the French air traffic controllers. They had a strike on the day I was supposed to fly out, so I stayed an extra day. But several people then went from Toulouse down to Barcelona to participate in the Catalyst event. And here I am, just me. Oh look, they're wearing the same t-shirts today. So yeah, these were some of the. So I've spent 3 years talking and working with several of these people. Roberto from Dandelion, I was participating in the Dandelion network in the early days, running the APIs for Cardano, DB-Sync, etc., through Roberto's infrastructure project. He's now working with CF on other sorts of infrastructure projects. Really good guy. We have here as well, I think that's Giovanni Doesn't quite look like him, but Giovanni was here as well. So he's Italian. He worked on developing an ecosystem map with us at Catalyst Swarm. So I got to meet him, which was really good as well. Again, been working with him for the last 2-3 years. Also, somewhere in here is James from Gimbal Labs, who I've talked about constantly. Here he is at the back, very tall James. Really great guy, really good educator. So he's the brain behind Andamio and the Gimbal Labs team, Gimbal Labs Token. So Roberto is also a founder of Gimbal Labs, which was, yeah, great. And then, so here is Lucas, who I work with at Project Catalyst lots. There's Reese from Stokepool. He was working on staking DAO, which was hopefully going to be the DAO that forms to actually increase delegation of stake to small stake pool operators. He's based in London, so I've seen him at London events mostly. We've met before. Yeah, really just a great room of people. People I've been working with 3 years and not managed to ever be in a room with. I suddenly got to meet. And the Project Catalyst launch event was fascinating to watch from the live stream. I watched the recording actually, but that was very good. I got to meet Jingles and his son as well in Toulouse. He went down then after the event to go down to Barcelona. But Jingles runs or develops Mesh, which is a really good build and developer tool set for Cardano, Mesh.js. So lots of people are familiar with JavaScript and TypeScript far more than they are with Haskell and Plutus and or even Aiken. And so Mesh.js is a very good way to get started building on Cardano, web applications of Cardano. If you're interested, here's Niels from Hazelnut. And in fact, at the same table there was Hosky. So from Husky Token was there at the event as well. He's anonymous. Nobody knows who he is, but I got to sit next to him, so I kind of know who he is. But yeah, Danny is down at the front here. He's the sort of the community lead for Project Catalyst. He's the guy that's been in Project Catalyst for the longest. Really good guy. Rate him a lot. And then Chris is product manager for Project Catalyst. And I met him in London at the 2021 summit. He's been involved since then. So yeah, really great bunch of guys. The Catalyst launch event was a huge success, it seems. So I imagine they'll probably do more of them. In-face launch events rather than just on Zoom, which is what we've done up to date. No, I would have thought there'd be something looking off to it from here, but I guess it's just on the YouTube channel. If you did want to catch up on any of the talks. Compare for the day was Mauro from Catalyst Swarm. Again, I work with closely. He's a really good guy. Actually see it here either. Probably on iOS. They should have their own channel by now. That's a town hall from last night. Night before last. This was the launch event in Barcelona. So I'll drop this link to you, and then you can catch up on it. There's several talks. It's a good long recording of it. This one's an hour and a half. Interviews with Frederick from the Cardano Foundation and all sorts, and packed full of really good content. And they actually had a cake that they cut into to launch the actual Project Catalyst Fund 12. So Project Catalyst Fund 12 is now open for proposals. If you ever had an idea for something you want to see built out on a blockchain, Cardano is willing to let your idea be seen by its huge voting audience. And if they like it, they will fund you to build it. Dinesh, got a question?
Yeah, I watched live on the Fund 12 launch.
Okay.
I was looking at the roadmap, and I remember last time I was trying to get into register for a reviewer, but I didn't get. I think I missed out on the deadline. So when's the deadline for being a reviewer this time around? Do you know, or do we have to wait till they announce it?
So it's open already. I'm sure you can apply. This is the page to come to.
So like when I got told, they said wait for for the announcement or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think they've changed the community reviewer program significantly this time around. I didn't manage to make it to all of Town Hall this Wednesday, but I wonder if it mentions it in the launch guide.
Should be on the roadmap. Should that be on the roadmap? That deadline.
Did you see it already? Well, the reviewer sign up, I don't think they normally put onto the roadmap.
All right.
But reviewers.
As a voter, we don't have to do anything, do we? Because we've already pre-registered.
Yeah, we registered. If you're registered since Fund 9, then you're still eligible to vote and get rewards. So there's no need to re-register. But it's always worth opening up the app and checking you've got the latest version and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, I can't see when the window opens for registering as a community viewer. I thought it was open already. But yeah, worth having a look through this document. So let's see if I've missed something.
It's not something you do from the app, do you?
No, won't be from the app. It will
From the website.
Yeah, from the website. And I think we're still on idea scale for this fund. I don't know whether it's something even maybe within here now. Certainly was initially. Quick look. Yeah, here we go. So if you come into idea scale, have you've got an account on there already? Yeah, I imagine.
Which one?
Idea scale, the proposal writing platform. So if you wanted to submit a proposal, use idea scale. And then if you want to read about the proposals, you can come and read about them on idea scale as well. So if you haven't done that yet, then that's worth having a look at, because it looks like the proposal reviewer or community reviewer sign up is now popping up on here. I'll drop that into the chat for you. Find it. So you definitely have it. I'll get all the links gathered in Discord as normal afterwards.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
That should get you there. And then
Yeah. Remember last time I was trying to get in, and then I realized there was a deadline's already been and gone.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, it gives you the question on this form when it's first pop up when you go log into the idea scale. And then you can put in your receive address, your wallet receive address for where the rewards would go for behaving as a community reviewer. Leave this blank, I think, and then yeah, leave that blank as well. So it'd just be this first 2 questions and then submit. And you're up and running.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. So yeah, acting as a community reviewer, there are several ways to earn rewards through Project Catalyst. You can either propose and get your idea funded. You can become a community reviewer, so you review other people's proposals as they appear on site, and that gives it a score for people to then see when it comes to making their voting decision in the app. You can perform some of the administration within Project Catalyst. So you could be a proof of life verifier, join a team that then is responsible for onboarding all the new proposers as they arrive. So that will mean making yourself available for at least two windows, time for 2 4-hour time slots, I think it is, where proposers can come in and do their proof of life, which effectively gets them to say their project number, how much, what their country of origin is, or current country of operation is, I should say, and that gets recorded on video so that the team can verify that the people they're actually paying to do the project are the ones that then show up to do the community progress assessment interviews, which they have to actually fulfill before they get paid out along their milestones. So that's one of the roles you can take in the administration side of things. There are other administration side type roles as well. They tend to change. The Catalyst team actually do most of that work themselves, but they are devolving bits of it out into the community as we go. So yeah, there could be other things to get involved in this fund as well. And then the final thing is just holding ADA, more than 500 ADA. You can register to vote in the Catalyst voting app, which you download onto your mobile. And then just submitting one vote will make you eligible to earn rewards as a voter in Cardano. That's worthwhile doing. One, it gets you actually seeing how governance can work in the future for nations as well as blockchains. It gets you to engage with an app, a DApp on Cardano. So you have to connect your wallet. You have to scan QR codes. You have to register your mobile or install the mobile app and scan QR codes with that, and that gets you in the process of working with your wallets and with applications, all without risking your funds, because you're not signing any transactions to spend anything. You're just signing proof of ownership of a particular wallet. But these are good things to practice as you go, and you get incentivized to do that. So instead of we had our local elections yesterday in the UK. So last night I was out paper voting at my local old people's home. Wandered in there and was on a long list of empty residents who don't actually manage to get out of the house to vote. The turnout is pretty dire in our national elections because of voter apathy. Because actually, when you vote, the chances of your vote impacting the outcomes are very, very slim in our local elections because of the lack of engagement. And in my mind, in my opinion, it's kind of the status quo wants to perpetuate itself. So the establishment wants to stay in power, money wants to stay where it is, and the chance of changing anything by participating in a vote is pretty slim. Actual on-chain governance can change that, because there's little incentive to casting your vote in the real world. In the digital world, there are actual cash incentives, which is a very different model. That might not be the case forever, but incentivize people to get out and cast an opinion is a better way of gauging temperature sensing in your whole community, rather than what we've got in the government and political party system that we're struggling with in our day-to-day. So yeah, do you get involved? Do you start playing with it? Start thinking about how blockchain could change the world that we live in for better, long term, not just as an investment opportunity, even though it is the best investment opportunity out there at the moment. Think about the change it can make to the quality of lives of everyone around the world as a whole as well. So yeah, Project Catalyst, do have a look, do get involved. Any more questions in around that? I think we covered your question, Dinesh. do have a look at Project Catalyst.io. Keep an eye on it. It's where most of the news comes through. Dinesh?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah, will do. Thanks for that.
Pleasure. So one other thing I wanted to mention as an example of collaboration cross-chain, which is one of the things that Cardano holds, or Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskinson, holds dear to his heart, is cross-chain collaboration. Obviously, he was one of the founders of the Ethereum blockchain, and was kind of ousted from that project because of difference of opinion with the other initial founders, particularly Vitalik Buterin, and Charles then went on to found Cardano. Gavin Wood from Polkadot was also one of the founders of Ethereum. Again, difference of opinion ousted him from the Ethereum project, and he went on to form Polkadot. And now Polkadot and Cardano are two of the largest, most well-respected technical infrastructures in the blockchain community. And what we want to get to a point is where there is the ability to move assets cross-chain really easily, really securely, robustly, so that without any loss of value, and only increase in utility. And Cardano and Polkadot are working together on various different areas of their ecosystems to make sure that happens. There is a new community project that's born out of the Catalyst Swarm crew, really, called Unifiers. And so if you are in either of those communities, Polkadot or Cardano, and you're interested in cross-chain collaborations and in how that can work, then come and have a look at Unifiers. So here's a listing on the Polkadot forum. We also have on the Cardano side of things, which I'm more familiar with. You can find project proposals on Project Catalyst. So Lido Nation has got some Unifiers proposals that you can go and read about. You can also read articles on C Explorer, which is a blockchain explorer, on Cardano. They have an article section on there. You can read about Polkadot and Cardano's collaborations from the Unifiers team. In the Unifiers team, we've got Felix Weber, who I also got to meet, having worked with him for 3 years, which is the highlight of my whole week last week. Felix is great. He's a Cardano ambassador and really heavily engaged in community building and collaborations. Peter Walcott is Catalyst Swarm as well, so I work closely with these two guys. Tommy is very much involved in the early days of Project Catalyst, and built out some very good directions that he wanted it to grow in, but he's always been a Polkadot ambassador as well. And then, of course, Bullish Dumpling is Cardano ambassador, and Peter Bowie also Cardano ambassador. They're all collaborating. These are all Bullish Dumpling and Peter Bowie are YouTubers. You probably know them as lots of great content that they produce. This whole team are now partnered with Polkadot ambassadors to really grow that collaboration between the two blockchains. So that article is worth a scan through as well. And both the Polkadot ambassadors and the Cardano ambassadors are collaborating on the Unifiers social media accounts and projects. So I do want to find that for you on Twitter too, so I can have a quick look. And actually, while I was here, I was trying to find Neil's tweet to follow too. So maybe I'll just do a quick search for Neil's. I talked about Hazelnet and the direction they're going. Neil's codes. Follow him, and then also to see Unifiers on here too. So, I spent some good time with Felix last week, talking about AI, because Felix has also been heavily involved in Deep Fund, the Singularity Net Innovation Fund, worked with a lot of the AI building teams over there. So he was showing me a lot of the artwork he produces is now facilitated and empowered by artificial intelligence. And so this branding, I can tell, has come from the hands of Felix in collaboration with his AI tool set. And you can join their Discord and actually get involved in discussions with them. But yeah, Peter Bowie's been doing some videos on them as well. So that's videos worth a watch too if you want to get a quick intro to the Polkadot and Cardano collaborations. Good. And last one I wanted to look at is another deep-in project. Iagon, I talked about before, but now with sort of the additional hardware I'm able to get hold of, I'm interested in possibly looking at running an Iagon node too. So Iagon are a physical infrastructure network within Cardano ecosystem, where you may have heard of Filecoin. Type Filecoin from Ethereum, which is a is it Ethereum or is it its own blockchain? I'm not sure, it might not be. So Filecoin is a token related to storing files, so data storage. So like you probably have a Google Drive account or a Microsoft OneDrive or a Dropbox account. These are all large cloud storage networks that are really how the bulk of the information of the world is now stored. They are private entities. They are good actors so far. They look after your data. They make sure it's backed up and multiple copies, so that you can always restore your data. All my family photos are now stored with these providers. A lot of the intellectual property I develop with my businesses, I store in these providers as well. But really, I don't want to be having my assets and my intellectual property stored with who effectively could be competitors, even though they're providing a service to me. They're not necessarily always going to be best actors. If the SEC knocked on the door of Google and said, show me Jonathan's tax records and activity, anything that might have relation to the US, they could come after me like that, and Google would be obliged to relinquish that information. And so if the US went rogue, started acting badly, maybe I should say more rogue, it's actually even worse. It started acting worse. As a quick aside, shocking bit of news, Roger Ver, who's an early guy in the Bitcoin space as well, is a US citizen, had a whole load of Bitcoin from the early days, and he wanted to leave the US as a citizen, disliked the way the government was going, moved out, followed all the regulations in terms of exiting with his holdings, paid massive amounts in tax, massive amounts in exit fees from his holdings, and now 10 years after he left the country and stopped being a citizen in the US, he's been arrested in Spain and is being brought back to the US to face charges of not paying enough in his exit, which to me is just overreach of government to a huge degree. Just seems criminal to me. And yeah, that's a sort of the threat that private companies that hold all our information pose, in that they can be coerced into releasing information that maybe shouldn't be. If there is an overreach of government, they don't really have the ability to prevent that overreach. We've seen it with other things like social media. So the government has put its hands into Facebook, into Twitter, and manipulated and coerced what was newsworthy, according to those platforms. And that's followed, that's meant there's been an agenda, propaganda almost, that was suited, that was met and doled out to us, recipients of those social networks. And so all these sorts of risks and concerns are out there in my mind, and decentralized storage is a way to combat some of those. So actually, if we're storing our assets and our content that we create in life on decentralized storage mechanisms like Filecoin's one, so you might have heard of the IPFS, the Interplanetary File System. You might have heard of Arweave as a immutable data storage mechanism. We've got an equivalent now built out on Cardano called Iagon. And so if you want to store your assets on a Cardano-backed blockchain file store method, then you can use Iagon, which I was looking at before I got distracted. So this is the Iagon platform, and with their app, you can pay to use it, and you can also earn from it as well. So, like most parts of the new digital ecosystem, there are ways to earn in it as well as to spend in it. This is the app link, so I just need to connect a wallet. Let me connect my wallet. Let me just check to see which wallet it is that I've got hooked up. Maybe this one, yeah, that should be fine. Just get my spending passphrase as I'm using a DApp connector. And this isn't asking me to spend anything. It's always good to look at the form in your wallet, where your wallet pops up, to check the transaction that you're actually signing. So let me zoom in on that for you. So this is a pop-up form from the Iagon app. It's not, if you see down, there's no way to scroll down and see transaction information. There's no transfer of funds. I'm not signing a transacting mechanism. I'm just signing to say that I own this wallet. And so I've got a signature request that will be tied to this wallet address. And so I can happily sign that, spend my password, know that I'm not risking any of the assets in my wallet. And now this will let this website, this app, this decentralized app, talk to my wallet. And so once I've connected, you can see in here that I've got some products that I can actually buy into. And so for $24, I can have access to store 1 terabyte worth of information. So a terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. And so you might have a 500 gigabyte drive in your computer, which is all a computer can hold. And so you can, for an additional $24 a year, you can get twice as much storage on top. And in fact, at the moment, it looks like there's a bonus of another 500. So you end up with 1.5 terabytes of information you can store for $25 a year, which is, extremely good value. Probably not the cheapest you could find elsewhere. You might be able to get it cheaper from Amazon S3 or something like that. But for accessibility and having the benefits of the decentralization brings, this is a great product. So the differentiator between using something like this and Google Drive is that ultimately Google hold the keys to that information. With Iagon, your information is distributed amongst a network of individuals, all distributed across the globe. And so your information is never in one place, is never under one jurisdiction. And so if somebody comes knocking and says, give me the information for this guy, Iagon couldn't actually just hand it over. They don't know, they don't have that knowledge. And the people holding the information don't even have the ability to read it either. The encryption keys are locked up in your wallet. So for you to be able to read the contents of the storage, you need to have your wallet available, and only you have the keys to your wallet. So it's a really secure way of storing data long term, very cheaply, which is great to now have available to us. You can also be a provider. So instead of buying storage space, you can actually offer storage space. So if you run a computer 24/7, you can actually connect that to Iagon, and if you've got some spare drive space, you can actually offer that drive space for other people to then store their files on, and you become a node operator in the decentralized network that Iagon protocol provides. So I'm not doing this yet, but I have intentions to actually provide some additional storage. So I'll be buying hard drives, running them in my data center, attached to my hosting machines, and then I can offer that space up for people to store information on. And as a result of offering that space to use, I'll get paid for providing that space. So some of that fee, that $24 a year for a terabyte space, will come to me as a node operator then. And this is a way to sort of participate in the digital economy, earning from it, also benefiting from its utility. And it shows you, again, real world use cases for blockchain that is much more than just currency exchange. With this, you're actually providing a mechanism for storing all the information in the world by all the people, all the computers in the world, securely, without sharing the actual contents of it with anybody. So suddenly you've got the world's largest storage mechanism available to you, and most robust, most secure storage mechanism available to you, because the cryptography levels used here to hide your data from anybody else are the best in the world. And so it can't be hacked by any wrongdoers, any hackers couldn't get into it. And you can pay for that service. You can also earn from that service. So a really good indicator and use case for where we're going. So if you're interested in the project, just want to maybe buy some of the token to keep an eye on it. I don't have any hesitation saying that I hold some IAG, and so don't mind talking about it. Price is down at the moment, so might be a good time to get in on it. And this, if you just put a few dollars in here, you can then get an interest in the project. You'd start watching price, and you can start to think about how you can maybe use some of those services yourself, maybe for storing your family photos, or maybe even venturing into getting an old machine and some hard drives and starting to provide storage space on the network as well. Obviously, you have to then think about your electricity costs, about your purchasing that hardware costs, about maintaining a good service, keeping those computers online. And if there is a hard drive failure, have you got backups of that data so you can continue serving? Dinesh, your question.
Actually, about 3 years back, I was looking into a project called Akash. They were like storage providers, distributed storage providers, and they processing provider. And they had on their website this facility called GPU. It's like a little console that you can plug in, leave it online. I was thinking about applying. Well, I actually applied to buy one of those, order one of those, so I could plug in and then plug it into their system.
Mm-hmm.
But that never materialized. And with this sort of facilities now coming up, is there something like a little console that you can buy? Not a computer, maybe it's just a little console which contains, say, processing capacity, storage capacity. You can plug in and then you can just leave it on on your internet, and then let it be used as the provider for both
Yeah,
processing and storage. Is there something like that available somewhere?
yeah, there is. So Akash is still up and running, so you could actually go back and have a look at that. They
I'll
offer.
look, but I can't find the same unit that they were talking about a few years back. I think they might have started with an idea but never materialized.
Oh, so actually buying a device to provide the compute power for you.
Yeah.
That right. Okay, I see. Yeah.
So you can earn, basically you can mine it, you can mine the tokens.
Yeah, yeah. So there are a few projects that do offer hardware as well. There was one that I was looking at for similar sort of thing, but I can't remember what that was now. But the idea really is to be able to run on any computer in the world that has got idle compute time or empty space. So you can if you buy a 500, or I think the minimum is at 900 gig hard drive. So you buy a terabyte hard drive, and you can offer 900 gig then to the lowest tier on Iagon. You've got that space spare, so you might fit all your files onto it, and it only takes up 500 for now. But you're upgrading from a 500 gig drive, so you've still got another 400, 500 gig of space just sitting there not doing anything. And so you could actually, from your existing hardware, from your existing computer and drives, you could then offer that and start earning from it. So that's the sort of idea. Houses have got internet connections as ubiquitously as water connections now. So we can start earning off the back of these. So whether you need to buy independent hardware for it or not is obviously down to you. You could buy any hardware and run on services like this now. So if you wanted to think about a cheap small computer that you could run, you'd just be a case of installing some software, connecting it to these protocols, and then starting to earn from it. You could get something like an Intel NUC machine, which are sort of micro PCs, reasonably powerful, and certainly good enough for this sort of offering. So probably be looking at something around this sort of level. 250 quid will get you 16 gigabyte memory machine with a 500 gig hard drive, and then you can be earning, set that on your internet connection, install the software, and then it could be earning away for you little bits of some token or other. So you could connect this to the Iagon network. So at the moment, Iagon are just offering storage, but they are currently working on their processing offering as well. So then you'll have decentralized compute as well as decentralized storage from Iagon.
That would be good.
Yeah. And so, one of the things, one of the devices that are very good for offering compute power are graphics processors. So if you've got children who come through your house and left a detritus of old PCs and graphics cards lying around, like there is in my house, you could resurrect all that old equipment, connect it to Iagon, and start earning off the back of those GPUs, because graphics processors are very good at offering network connected compute power, and the graphics processor is as good as the processor inside your machine, better at it in most cases now. So your own processor might be less powered than your graphics processor. That's the way that the gaming machines have gone. So they do offer a lot of potential for offering compute to the world. And platforms like this are very intuitive, very straightforward to use now, so you can really get in with it.
Great, thank you.
No problem. And they've also got this ledger offering, which I think just shows you how much you've earned and how you're doing in terms of growing your real estate in the digital ecosystem that is approaching us all. Cool. So do let me know if you do start to have a look at any of these projects that I've put before you. Igon is one that I'm looking at as well. I did have an opportunity to get on the incentivized testnet, but I couldn't manage the overhead in terms of time involved and the hardware requirements that were needed at the time. So I'll probably just get on in it in the next couple of months as I grow this deep in part of the pool. But yeah, that might be something that if I think it looks good, there might be something I could offer as well as like we've done for the Orcfax. I might add it into the portfolio because I do, that Nuvela business model that I was talking about at the beginning. That's intriguing, and certainly we seem to be having the same thoughts, investing in the same project so far. So it might be one just to mirror or even take part of as well. But yeah. Good. So that was the end of the content I had prepped to talk about. Any general questions anybody has? Anything they're working on, struggling with at the moment they want help with?
Yeah, I think this deep in is definitely worth considering because it's something that you could easily set up at home independently of your main laptop. You can just set it up and let it run, and then leave it on all night, all day, 24/7.
Yeah,
regardless of bank holidays.
yeah. And especially if you're privileged enough to put solar into your property, then
Yes.
it becomes a no-brainer because you've then got free power, and that's your main cost when running compute.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
So yeah, perfect. You really have got a you can find a money glitch, as my son calls it, where internet money just pours into your account for cost to you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth looking into this now as a next step.
Great. Well, yeah, let me know how you go on that journey, and I'll hopefully be joining you as well. I don't have solar here. I'm currently renting, so the next house is where I plan to set up my solar farm or my micro hydro plant.
Yeah, the solar walls from
I
Tesla.
manage a solar panel in my place.
You've got them, or you want some?
Yeah, no, I have. But at this moment, I'm just using for my hot water, so maybe I can make better use of it. Yeah, certainly I'm keen as a Dinesh. If you want to venture into those sort of like mining sort of thing, or even like offering processing power. Yeah.
Good. We can have a little collab working through on those implementations.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do we have any more questions? If not, I'm happy to wrap up a little earlier than we normally take it to, but also happy to stay if you do want to talk anything more through. Hi, Barbara. Didn't see you drop in there a bit late, but good to see you. I'll send you my Calendly link, and we can book a time slot together to go over some of your thoughts, because that's I'm back now from Toulouse. Managed to make it out of France despite the strikes, and yeah, ready to get back to work. Good. Okay. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan, and have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Take care. Have a nice weekend.
Actually, Luca mentioned that we might be doing a Cardano special in his Luca Crypto Hour, so I could be on from 8 next week up until 11, so it might be a very long morning for me. But yeah, if you don't want to hear Luca and me get deep into Cardano rather than just the normal macro market stuff, then Luca's Crypto Hour next week, I recommend as ever. But
yeah, I was thinking, Jonathan, if you can get hold of that graphics infographic for Cardano, like a
with all the
Cardano with those blocks of NFTs and DeFi and wallets, and that'd be really good graphics to start with.
Yeah. So Cardano Cube has got it gathers most of those projects together. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I'll make a note. yeah, so I'll be talking through Cardano and doing probably, what we do in depth. I'll just touch on lightly within Lucas Call, but yeah, do a rapid whistle stop tour of all the best projects on Cardano. Let people.
Great. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Hope to see you next week. And
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
Jonathan, you've still got the presentation to do for Investment Mastery as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost like, I'm at the point now where they need just to come to me and ask me, because we've
Yes.
4 times now to set up a date, but they will keep falling. Either they can.
Yeah, so Michael, who is based in Sweden, who I think was your initial contact, he's actually he's no longer at IM, but Dennis Solstrom is yeah. So just pop a
message to Dennis.
message to Dennis. I can send you his contact details again if you need them.
Okay, I think he's in my mailbox, but yeah, I'll drop a message.
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
bye everyone.
See you next week.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye.